Spoken section. Anthropic just locked a $45 billion computing infrastructure deal with SpaceX. And that's reshaping the entire Claude scaling game. I'm your host on Architect Ledger TV. Here's what every IT professional needs to know. Let's go. Anthropic secures $45 billion SpaceX computing partnership. Anthropic and SpaceX signed a massive infrastructure agreement to power Claude's training and inference at scale. This move bypasses traditional cloud vendor dependency and leverages Starlink satellite capacity for distributed compute. If you're architecting AI workloads, watch how long-term compute contracting shifts. This isn't cloud elasticity, it's dedicated infrastructure commitment. The takeaway: expect Claude inference latency improvements and sovereignty-friendly deployment paths for enterprises needing off-grid or resilient compute. Microsoft Maia 200 ASIC bid for Claude workloads. Microsoft and Anthropic are negotiating a deal to run Claude on custom Maia 200 silicon instead of standard GPUs. This signals ASIC-first optimization for frontier model serving. Cheaper per token inference at scale. Explore Microsoft's custom silicon roadmap if you're evaluating long-term LLM cost per inference architectures. Custom silicon is no longer a Google-only game. Expect similar moves from AWS and hyperscalers. The architectural shift. Proprietary silicon reduces cloud vendor lock-in risk and accelerates Claude adoption in cost-sensitive enterprise segments. Anthropic Microsoft custom silicon expands ASIC supply chains. The Maia 200 deal signals broader demand for dedicated AI inference ASICs across Microsoft's cloud supply chain, not just Anthropic. This cascades procurement pressure across semiconductor foundries and PCB manufacturers. Check NVIDIA's earnings calls and AMD roadmaps for competitive ASIC responses. Monitor supply chain forecasts from Semaphore or TrendForce. The enterprise impact. ASIC-based inference becomes cost-competitive with GPU fleets by 2025, forcing reevaluation of your LLM serving strategy, especially for stateless, high-throughput workloads. Microsoft doubles down on internal AI over Claude Code. Microsoft is investing heavily in Copilot and internal tooling rather than deepening dependence on Anthropic's Claude Code. This reflects strategic hedging. They want toolchain independence and custom optimization. If you're considering Claude Code versus GitHub Copilot for your dev teams, expect Microsoft to accelerate feature parity aggressively. The takeaway: multi-model strategies reduce vendor risk. Don't lock your entire IDE onto a single LLM provider. Build abstraction layers for easy model swapping. KPMG partners with Anthropic on enterprise services. KPMG and Anthropic launched a joint go-to-market initiative to embed Claude into audit, tax, and advisory workflows. This expands Claude adoption into regulated professional services, where explainability and auditability matter. If you're in financial services or audit tech, KPMG's playbook will set the reference architecture for client-facing Claude deployments. The architectural signal. Enterprises are moving from experiment to production. Expect standardized prompt templates, compliance wrappers, and audit logging to become table stakes. Anthropic launches memory files for Claude context. Anthropic announced memory files, a native feature letting Claude retain context across sessions using structured file attachments. This addresses the stateless LLM problem. Agents can now reference project history, prior decisions, and domain knowledge without bloating prompts. Start exploring Claude's Memory Files API if you're building multi-turn agentic workflows or customer support bots. The engineering win: stateful agents with bounded token usage. This unlocks long-running, knowledge-aware applications without expensive retrieval-augmented generation plumbing. Cybersecurity demand surges as AI generates code velocity. Hiring for security engineers is accelerating faster than any other tech role as AI models flood codebases with new vulnerabilities. Claude Code, Copilot, and other generative tools are shipping exploitable patterns at scale. Patching velocity now outpaces human review capacity. If you're a hiring manager or CISO, cybersecurity automation and ML-driven code scanning are no longer optional. The architectural mandate: shift left security into your CI/CD pipeline. Integrate SAST tools with Claude-powered remediation agents. Defense in-depth beats manual code review. UK AI Security Institute emerging as industry standard setter. The UK government's AI Security Institute, staffed by ex-OpenAI and Google alumni, is building reference threat models and safety benchmarks for frontier models. This is becoming the de facto standard for government AI procurement across allied nations. Track their published frameworks on model evaluation and red teaming. They're influencing export policy and compliance requirements. The takeaway: geopolitical AI governance is hardening. Enterprise architects should prepare for compliance certifications tied to model provenance and safety attestations, especially if you serve government or critical infrastructure clients. Anthropic's constitutional AI course on their website, free 90 minutes, covers memory systems, agent design, and safety, essential now that memory files ship. Do it before scaling Claude into production. That's 8 stories reshaping AI infrastructure and enterprise adoption. Subscribe for weekly signal on the moves that matter to your stack. Next week, which hyperscaler pivots first to on-prem sovereign AI? End spoken section.